Play.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Welcome to WTA Weekly. First of all, I don't think I could possibly live up to that intro. Somebody does have a hope of living up to that intro. It's Kira Hancock. Kira, how are you doing?
That's very nice. Thank you, Nick. I'm very well, thank you. It's been such a long time since I've seen you.
It's been a while. I mean, I think we did a commentary together at some point, but
At some point, it slips my mind.
Yeah, at some point. Yes. First of all, I would like to formally apologise to our viewership for being very late. I have no excuse. I do have excuses.
You do have excuses. It's not just you.
They don't matter. Not when we have tennis to talk about. And well, I think Fakiha in the chat is going to be very, very happy because she's asking us to talk a lot about Iga, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Exactly what we're going to do.
Because you have the benefit, wonderful viewers, of having two Iga Swiatek fans on WTA Weekly.
Two.
Which, typically speaking, when I've done this show before, it's been a fellow, as someone who's had a strong admiration for Świątek, but maybe their fandom lies elsewhere. Very commonly will be with an Arina Sabalenka fan. That's always fun. But yes, so for those of you who are less enthusiastic about Świątek, I make no apologies. So we are here. This is the day after Iga Swiatek has won her second Indian Wells title, 8th career. Is it 8th Masters 1000? It's definitely 90th career title.
I think it's 8th.
Yeah, which is 4th highest amongst active players, which according to Vunch is like the 3 ahead of her are all nearing retirement. So yeah, let's talk about it. So let's start with the final. What was your summary of what Iga Swiatek did in that final?
Dominance, pure and simple. It was dominance. It was obviously in that first set, she goes 3-love up, and then it's sort of a little bit of, falters. Sakkari back in it. You think, oh, maybe we have got a final on our hands. But I still think when it got to 4-all, you could feel, I think everyone could feel, right, well, Iga's going to hold here and then break to win the set. That felt really obvious to me. I don't know about you. So I think she obviously then the second set 6-love. It was just complete dominance. She played, I think, the best tennis of the tournament, which I think she did every single match. As she went along, it got better and better. She got more and more comfortable. And Sakkari, who'd had a brilliant tournament so far, unfortunately, just didn't seem to show up. And that's what it felt like. But I think it was far more that Świątek was just so dominant that she didn't get a look in.
Yeah, I think Sakkari did rattle Świątek for 2 games.
Yeah.
When she broke back, when Iga went 3-love up, Sakkari held at 3-1, broke for 3-2, held for 3-all, and then Iga locked down on serve after that point. And she adjusted to what Sakkari was throwing at her, because Sakkari loosened up and was really swinging for it. And there were a couple of rounds where they're fairly even, and Iga just found a way to okay, good on you. You've raised your level. We're dealing with a different Sakkari here. I can live with this.
Yeah, absolutely. She just sort of immediately adjusted to the new level Sakkari was bringing and was like, okay, yep, fine. This is completely fine with me. I'm going to get on with my game again. So
this was a vintage Iga performance. The forehand produced some amazing shots. Yeah, there were a couple of misfires again during that middle first set period, but those went away quite quickly. The backhand was super solid. Yeah. The return, that was key. She was really getting everything. Sakkari serving, playing Sakkari serving okay. Yeah, there was a lot to praise her for. I guess my question was that I said vintage Iga. Does this feel like 2022 Iga again?
It did to me. It did to me because I think 2022 Iga I would watch and feel quite comfortable. Don't know about you. I would watch Iga in 2022 and be like, yeah, she's got this. I'm not worried. And I think last year I was worried quite a lot. So this week in general, I would say, has slowly, as it's gone on, I've got more and more comfortable watching it. It feels sort of inevitable when she steps on the court, as she did yesterday, that she's going to take it. And I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, it was super impressive. I agree with you in that as the tournament went on, I felt a lot more secure about Iga. I mean, I was nervous before every match, but then the start of this final was like I settled down pretty quickly as a fan. Did get a little annoyed with her at points, but like the 6-love set was vintage. Like the classic Iga second set. Once she won that first set, I had no doubt she was going to win the match.
Wow. 70-0 when she wins the first set now.
Indeed.
In Masters.
Which is insane. That is such a cool stat. Similar throughout the tournament, like I think Collins and Noskova were a little nervy to start with, especially going a break down to Noskova in the way that she did, and almost a double break, and then pulling that back was like 11 games in a row, like not giving Noskova a look in.
Yeah.
Wozniacki, I didn't feel like she was getting much of a threat. I think Iga, once she got going, was going to push through that, and then Kostyuk and Putintseva were not threatening at all. Kostyuk did not threaten as much as I thought she was going to be honest.
I was exactly the same. It was before the Kostyuk match that I was like, oh, this one could be trickier. I still thought she'd come through, having seen the tennis she was playing, but I definitely thought it'd be trickier, and it just wasn't. And that was sort of, for me, the moment where I was like, right, okay, yeah, she's locked in here.
Yeah, so I'm with you. Like, I'm still yet to shake off the 2023 sort of nerves before an Iga match, but hey, we're coming to clay soon. That's gonna start fading.
Yeah, hopefully that'll settle us down a bit on clay. But I feel pretty settled now, actually. Yeah.
I mean, we've got to get through Miami first. I mean, we are going to do a Miami preview. Iga in Miami, she didn't play last year, so is undefeated at the minute. But I don't like. Is that something that we should be make us optimistic, or do we need to be realistic given the surface is going to be a little quicker?
I'm going to be realistic for once. I know we talked yesterday about only bringing positivity, but I'm going to be realistic. I don't see her doing the double this year, just because of the surface, like you said, winning the Indian Wells. Surface, she didn't play last year, so it might take her a few more games. But on the other hand, I would say she's got a kinder draw than she did in Indian Wells here. Overall, obviously,
You've got Noskova in round 3 again.
Noskova again, yes, apart from that one. But obviously, after the sort of wobble at the beginning of the first set of that one, she did make quick work of her. So I don't know if that is as much of a sort of nervy match as it might have been previously.
We're being reminded that Anna Konyu beat Iga Swiatek in 2021. So technically not undefeated in Miami, but I mean like on a run. And closest the closest the tournament has got to defending champion, given Petra Kvitova is on maternity leave.
Yes, very true.
But going back to that, okay, so we've got an element of realism in here, but in terms of the current state of play in the WTA, is Iga Swiatek now the undisputed number 1?
I know we're biased, but take that away for a minute, and I would say, unbiased as I can be, I think yes. Personally, I do think maybe we need to see how she gets on in the slams this year to really feel confident in saying undisputed number 1. I think Sabalenka can be so dangerous in slams, as we know, very consistent in slams, as we know. If Sabalenka wins 3 out of the 4 slams this year, for example, then we might need to talk again. But if we can see how Świątek gets on in the slams, then I think we can pretty comfortably say she's undisputed.
Is it frustrating as an Iga fan? Maybe a leading question with this, because the answer for me is yes. Is it frustrating for an Iga fan where she is definitely favourite at least 6 out of 9 1000s? No, there's 10 1000s now. 7 out of 10, 6 or 7 of the 1000s, but her advantage in the slams is minimal at 3 out of 4 of them. Ginormous at one of them, but
huge. Yeah. Yes, it's frustrating, I think. Partly for me as a fan, because slams will always lead the conversation amongst the majority of people. And however well somebody does in the Masters, obviously top talking tennis pods perhaps might talk a lot about that, but in terms of the general feeling around players, if you're not going to do well in the slams, people aren't going to think you're going to have a good season. And I think that can be really frustrating when you know what sort of tennis she's playing, for her not to compete as well as we might like in those slams, or not to be favourite, or whatever that might be. Is it's frustrating.
it's frustrating, but at the same time, when she's on, like when she's there and she's playing on a court that's like even medium speed, she's got an advantage. What is it actually? This is an opportunity to kind of talk about this. What is it that made you an Iga fan?
For me, not only was it obviously her tennis is incredible, so that's like non-issue. She's brilliant at tennis. Full stop. Done. Yeah. Okay. But there's a lot of good people at tennis. For me, it's more her as a person, as a fan. I really obviously can appreciate a lot of the top tennis players. They've all got some great personalities. But for me, I resonate with Iga the most. As I put in my article about her being an introvert, that's something that I don't see a lot in the sort of top sports personalities across lots of sports. I'm sure we can all name some, but I don't see it loads. And it really sort of means a lot to me to see somebody sort of quiet, introverted, reflective, who's at the very, very top of a sport and sort of a figurehead, but doing it in her own way, not trying to conform to how other people might take on that role.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and there is definitely that sense of she does things her own way.
Yeah,
and she's so focused on the sport, and that's admirable. I honestly think I think every tennis player eats, sleeps, and breathes tennis, but she's literally made it the center of everything, pretty much. Like it's a military operation. I mean, for me, it was the tennis that won me.
I was going to say,
the forehand, that forehand, the way it plays with the baseline and those fine margins between in and out, just heart in the mouth every single time. The backhand is such a solid shot that can do so much.
The backhand down the line did contribute for me as well. I will put that shot in there.
That the Murray fan coming in there.
It might be.
But yeah, I think I realized I was an Iga fan because, like, I think I was watching her during the US Open 2021 because I'd watched her win Roland Garros in 2020 and was like, okay, this kid's good. I'm impressed. And I think more I watched her over the course of the years, like, there's something about her, and I don't know what it's just the way she plays tennis. I don't know what it is. And then I just realized that the way I felt about watching her play tennis was the same way I used to feel watching Roger Federer play.
Yeah, I can see it.
And even though they don't play similar games.
No, not at all. But the feeling.
Yeah, there's sort of inventiveness and that sort of heart in the mouth and that sort of how did you do that moment.
Yeah.
That's it. And actually, we were talking about forehands and backhands, and that reminds me of a point I was going to go back to from the final. We're talking about sort of vintage Iga 2022.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the football on the screen.
Why are we talking about this? Is there any opportunity for the Manchester United fan
Not
to
fair, John.
gloat.
Wow. Low blow. This is a tennis show, I was
Um,
told.
apparently, but next thing you're going to do is just pop up with a copy of his book. I don't see a copy of the book, John. Right. Anyway, I think there is. We talked about vintage 2022 Iga. I do think there was an element with that final and actually through the tournament that wasn't there as much in 2022, or was, but I think she's improved it. There's a definite improvement, and that's the serve.
Yes. Yeah, good point.
The serve was, yeah, I made a film comment about Iga serve busting, but genuinely there was so many serves that weren't coming back in the final. There were so many serves that over the course of the tournament that like got her out of trouble and kept her solid from like being broken again or going down. And that we weren't seeing that even almost at the beginning of this year in Australia.
Yeah.
Maybe more towards the end of last year in that Beijing WTA finals run. But that's why maybe, apart from the fact that 2022 was just ludicrously good,
Yeah.
you can't say this is the same player. And actually, I would want to. I think a question I would have wanted to ask Zachary was, was there discernible difference between in playing Świątek 2022 versus playing Świątek 2024, same location?
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a great question. Why did nobody ask? Why did nobody ask her that?
Because Anastasia wasn't at the press conference. I don't know.
That'll be it. That'll be it. Yeah, I think you're right. I really agree with you, because I don't know about you, but instinctively, when I think of Iga, I don't think of her as someone whose serve can get her out of trouble. My instinct would be that's not something I often see from her. But like you say, in this tournament, I definitely think I saw more of that. And you're right, WTA finals, that sticks in the mind as a time that she did as well. But not so much at the start of this year. I think if she keeps developing that, who knows?